This is called the show. So if you didn't know, this is called the show. This is called the show.
Yes, people, and we are now at the favorite part of the show where we will be interviewing a guest. And every week, well, not every week, but most weeks we have a new guest on. And this week we have got a guest all the way from the US of A. And this is my homie, Harkos, who I met through Facebook and stuff, wasn't it? Through lockdown.
Yeah. It was well, this was back in like 2017, 18, somewhere in there when we first linked up. That's back whenever I had my radio show style podcast, and
this was this was during COVID, bro. I think it was a little bit before COVID, wasn't it?
I think it was like I think it was 2018 or 19 is when we first linked up, somewhere in there, because I shut that down for most of 2020. I had that show going for, well, no, I shut it down in 21. Sorry. Is when I shut it down. So yeah, during COVID, I mean, we were definitely working on stuff. I think that's when we did Stranger. Either that, no, we did Stranger 21. But no, that's when we did that big collaboration, The Execution.
Yes, that's it, man. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, Harkos, welcome to the show, and this is
Appreciate
obviously a pleasure to have you on, man. And yeah, if you want to just quickly, really introduce yourself, tell people who you are, what you do, and all that jazz, and then we'll have a conversation and see where it goes, man. So Harkos, the floor is yours, my bro.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah. So I mean, I've always loved music, and back, in high school and stuff, I was writing a lot. When I went in the Army, I finally met some people who were actually making music. And so I was able to start creating back then. And then whenever I got out in 2008, I had, almost 10 years where I came back home. I didn't know anybody that was making music and stuff like that, where I'm at. And the internet just wasn't quite there yet. And then in 2017, I was like, all right, well, the internet's starting to catch up. Let me go ahead and start a podcast, because I wanted to try to help, support some local hip hop artists around the way that I was starting to make, to get to know and stuff. And it was mainly this one guy I worked with, and he was always talking about how, oh man, there's no backbone for us or nothing like that, independent artists and everything like that. And I'm like, well, dude, it's 2017, man. We got the internet, dude. Let's figure something out. And so I started a show called Hip Hop Hour, and it was radio show style, just playing music, introducing in between, and sometimes I would talk and stuff like that, and as time went on, I got more and more, especially when around in 2020, I started talking a lot in between the songs, more about different things. But in 2017 is when I started making music again. And because I started, meeting more and more people around the area, and then it expanded from just my local area, me playing people's music, to my whole state here in the United States of Indiana, and then people all around the country. And then I on Facebook, I met up with Subrime over in Ireland, who's part of 10 Cents at the time.
Yeah.
And then it kind of branched out from there, and I ended up, meeting you and a bunch of other dope MCs over in the UK. And by the time it was like 2019, right in there, I had like over 50% of my roster was UK hip hop artists, which is dope. And yeah, and then I kind of hit some stagnation. I was doing my music and stuff like that, and then I was hitting some stagnation with the growth of the show. Wasn't really going the way I wanted it to. But along that time, I started realizing that a lot of these great artists that were putting out some dope songs, they just didn't have any of the marketing things put in place. And I was learning about marketing because I was trying to learn how to do it to grow my show. And but I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, well, it's hard for me to tell people where to go find you on the show if you're on your personal Facebook page is where you're promoting, and then you have like a SoundCloud with like your artist name, and then your YouTube is something totally else different, and I'm just like, well, you're not even on, this is early time, 2018ish. I'm like, well, you're not even on Spotify, which Spotify's garbage now, but in 2018 it was the place. And I'm like, well, you're not even on these places, everything like that, and so I started, as I was learning more about marketing, I was trying to tell these people, and of course I was just a DJ slash another artist. They're not going to listen to me because, whatever. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I just kept building, building, building. In 2021, I kind of had like a mental break, had some personal stuff go on, but then also 2020 was kind of a strain on me mentally because like I'm naturally very conspiratorial, and I've always followed like conspiracy stuff. And 2020, a lot of stuff started coming true, and I was losing my shit because for years I'd always been told, "Oh man, you're just crazy conspiracy theorist." I was like, okay, yeah, I probably am, but hey, what if, right? What if? What if? And then what if started coming around like, when is the next one going to happen? And I'm just like, oh. So I kind of lost my shit, shut the show down. And like I said, it wasn't really going where I wanted, but I was like, all right. I started really focusing on the marketing. And then I was helping a couple of local artists. I was talking with them and working on different plans and stuff, and they were implementing some of it. And then I started implementing some of it. I was working on my music whenever I came back around 2022. So whenever I came back, started doing stuff. I think that's when me and you did Stranger. And then, I had an EP done. I was working on that stuff. I had like a whole rollout and everything. I was working on that. And, and then when was it? And I started working with an indie label and helping them with the marketing and stuff like that. And we ended up changing the indie label into a marketing agency. So I was helping him get that up and running. And because the whole label thing for a lot of people and a lot of labels is a racket. And working on percentages of nothing, basically. It's a crazy situation. And then in 2023 started my podcast, Makin Cents Podcast. Which is what I'm rocking with now. Been doing it ever since, and it's all about music marketing, branding, and how to have success as an independent artist. And it's all the things I've been learning since 2016, technically. Whenever I started getting into online marketing and e-commerce and all kinds of stuff, and trying to figure out how to make it work for my music as well as everything else. And I did, like I was saying, I put my music on the back burner in 2023 to focus on the podcast because I'm like, I want to put 100% into this. I love making music. If anybody wants to hop on a track, if I got some time and everything, no problem at all, especially you, Salzy, like I'll hop on a track with you any day, man. But for the most part, I just put my stuff off to the side and just focus on only growing this brand. And for the first year, it was a little slow. I had a co-host at that time, and the structure really wasn't what I wanted it to be because, we first met because we got in a disagreement about something in marketing.
Okay, interesting.
Right. And so then like people who saw it, like, y'all should start a podcast because we were in like a little network thing. And so we started a podcast or whatever, and it was a good dichotomy because sometimes we'd agree on things, sometimes we would differ. We had different points of view. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a really interesting dichotomy. I'm a white hip hop artist from Indiana and everything. He was a black metal frontman. Right. And so like from Detroit, but then he ended up moving to Seattle and stuff. And so like, the points of view between, him doing all these performances and stuff like that as a frontman in metal, and then me doing all this stuff mainly on the internet with hip hop and everything. And, he knew about hip hop. I knew about rock as well, too. So it blended. But then after about a year or so, it wasn't really just like really moving. We couldn't really hone in. And he had some other stuff he wanted to work on anyway. I wanted to go a little more structured situation with it, and so we parted ways in like August of last year, somewhere in there. And then I just started doing solo podcasts since, and then basically from then I started really honing in the episodes, making them to specific things, and then identifying the issue and then giving solutions for independent artists, which we were doing, but not as structured. And I started, doing proper advertising and everything like that. And, I went from 100 followers and maybe a dozen or two views per episode in August to now it's April. and I got over 4,200 followers on YouTube, getting thousands of views every episode. And I had just landed a brand partnership with Lander, who does music distribution, as well as they have mixing and mastering software and a bunch of plugins and stuff like that as well too. I just landed a partnership with them where I'm doing sponsored videos on my channel, and I'm getting ready to start doing some videos over on their channel exclusively for them as well too. So, and in the meantime, I just been growing and helping artists, and all year long this year, I'm giving away 1 month of music marketing services to an artist. And the way that they apply for that basically is they can go to my website, musicmakingsensepod.com, and apply,
Yeah.
or they can submit music for my Wednesday night live stream that I do, where every Wednesday I play artist music from all over and all genres, because I'm not just exclusive to hip hop when it comes to marketing and stuff. Every genre, every style of individual is different, and so I'm cool with helping out all kinds of people. And I have some hip hop artists that I help out. I have this one woman who's her and her husband are actually like a duo for a punk band.
Wow.
But they do a lot of like the drums are all electronic and stuff like that. Like she makes the beats or whatever for it. And but it's really interesting dealing with her and stuff. I've been helping her and have a couple of podcasts that I help out as well too with the marketing. And so it's just been growing, but yeah, every month I'm giving away a month of music marketing services and just trying to help people, give them a taste of what I can do to help them out. And then like almost every time I got like 75% where people just keep me on for the next month in some capacity, some way, shape, or form. I had one guy who he actually had a kid. It was his first kid too, and so his life's been chaotic ever since then. You know how that is, man. So,
Yeah, definitely, man.
so I was like, hey, dude, it's all good, man. Just hit me back whenever you get situated.
Just don't have any other children in between.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just wait. Yeah, just wait. You handle that, And he's like in his early 20s too. So I'm like, you take care of that. But yeah, man. I mean, that female artist I was talking to you, just telling you about, she won the first month in January because I just started it this year. And she's been with me ever since. She's been having a lot of good growth. She started a brand new YouTube channel in January. And she's getting like one of her music videos has 12 or 13,000 views on it. She's getting thousands of views spread across different videos that she puts out and different shorts and stuff like that. She's really big on the content, which is key to everything on the growth. And she's got I think she's at 250-ish subscribers already, stuff like that. So
Amazing, man.
yeah, man. So yeah, that's me. That's my main focus. I love music. Like I said, I mean, I listen to music, and it's not just a music review on Wednesdays. I also go into people's social media and give them tips and tricks. I'm like, hey, why did the fuck did this not have a music video? Like what stuff like that. And so it's pretty good. But yeah, that's who I am. That's what I'm about. Like I said, I still love making music. I don't do it as much because time constraints. But I've been focusing most of my efforts on helping people with their marketing, man. Because that's been my whole mission, is try to help artists grow since like 2017 when I first started Hip Hop Hour. That was all. I was just trying to help artists, give them a platform. Okay, let me just figure out what I can do to help them out. And I'm like, well, fuck, most of these people need information. They need the knowledge. They don't have the knowledge. They just think, I got to put this music out and it goes. No, it doesn't go, man. Like, there's a lot you got to do to it, but it doesn't have to be complicated at the same time. Because there's a lot of stuff that you got to do as an independent artist when you put out a song to properly push it. But it doesn't have to be complicated, but you just have to do all the steps. And the more you do the steps, the easier it gets, and you just baby steps first, man. But a lot of these people, they just don't want to take a lot of the steps sometimes.
And do you know what it is? I think the landscape, I mean, you'll probably vouch for this as well. The landscape has changed so much, and it's a constant, I suppose it's a bit of a battle where you have to kind of keep up with the algorithms, keep up with the changes. How have you found that in terms of what you're doing? as you've been progressing with your podcast and everything, have you found it more challenging in the sense of trying to keep up with all the changes? And as you said yourself, you have to tailor your marketing strategy depending on the artist, the music. I know you're going to have a general format, but have you found
Mhm.
that over time you've had to tweak things and learn new things, or has it been the changes haven't been that significant where, okay, you might have had to learn a few more things, but it's the basics are still there? How have you found sort of managing the landscape that we're living in at the moment, man, with the sort of the marketing strategies and stuff?
Right. Well, I mean, I'm always learning.
Hmm.
Because, if you're not learning and you're falling behind, and things are always changing,
Hmm.
trends and all that stuff. But it always comes down to the interest graph.
Hmm.
People relate to things based on interest.
Hmm.
You know,
It's an
um,
emotional connection as well, isn't it? You've got to get
yeah.
people emotionally. It's not just enough to
hmm
just to put out dope music and say, "Come on, look at my music." It's connecting with those people on an emotional basis where they feel they're
hmm
part of your journey rather than just, "Hey, this is my music. Check it out." Do you know what I mean? And I think that's
hmm
where a lot of artists these days fall short. Is they're creating this amazing content, but then they're not really concentrating. I mean, the marketing side of it for me, I've
hmm
noticed, is probably 90% or 80% of the work, and
Oh
the
yeah.
10-20% is the content. But
hmm
you've spent that time, that effort, that energy to make the content, and then not to give it its full chance of getting out to people and to reach its potential. I think it's a
hmm
shame, man. I think that's where a lot of artists fall short.
And that's what makes them jaded too. They're like, "Oh, fuck the system. The system's rigged, everything like that." Whatever excuse they want to have. Oh, the majors run everything. Yeah, they do. Yeah, the system is rigged. Yeah, the majors do run everything. However, there's independent artists all day, every day who are reaching, you know, 10,000 fans,
Hmm.
20,000 fans, real hardcore fans, and they're able to just only make music and go on shows and do whatever they want to do in the music realm. They're able just to do that. And there's many different ways to do it as well. But yeah, I mean, you can't just put your music out and say, "Hey, I created this." No, people have to give a shit.
Hmm. Hmm.
And they have to connect with you on more than just the fact that you're an artist, because more and more and more artists are showing up every single day now, because
Exactly.
music is getting it's getting a
It's oversaturated, man. There's so many
yeah,
people doing it now.
and that's because the technology is coming together now to where people can afford to have their own in-home studio. They
Hmm.
can use software like for instance, Lander software or some other software that will, mix and master your own stuff for you, or they can send it out to people who will do it for cheap,
Hmm.
like they can record their stuff at their house, send it out to somebody who will do mix and master for $40 a track or something like that. Sometimes less if they go overseas. And
Yeah.
they can get good quality. They can get that. They can put it out. It's essentially free to put it out on the streaming platforms.
Hmm.
In the scheme of things. Obviously, there's the different annual fees and all that stuff. But and then you put it out there. Social media is free. Everybody's like, oh, it's pay to play. No, no, it's called advertising.
Hmm.
Like, you know you can't just put stuff out on social media and expect it just to go. Like
Hmm.
you have to point it at the people who are most likely to resonate, but then also you have to show people who you are behind the music, beyond the music, you
Hmm.
know? Like I tell people, like you don't have to bring your kids and your family up on the camera if you don't want to. But what you gotta do is just go that extra little layer. Why do you make music? Okay, you make music. Well, guess what? 150,000 songs are uploaded to streaming platforms every single day.
Hmm.
Billions of hours worth of video content is uploaded to social media and YouTube every single day. So why would they spend their 3, 5, 10, 20 minutes with you?
Hmm.
Everybody's creating music out here, especially in the hip hop genre, because it's easy to do. All you need is, like Nas said, all you need is one mic, right?
Hmm.
That's all you need. And so, like, why? Why would they resonate with you? You know what I'm saying? Like, one of the first things that caught my attention with you was when you were doing that Captain America shit.
Yeah,
back in the day. You know what I'm saying? For those of y'all who don't know,
that crazy shit. Yeah.
he used to wear a fucking Captain America mask and change his voice and do fucking stupid ass comedy. It was fucking hilarious though, right? It was awesome. And shit, you even did it in that one music video where you with Crafty, where Crafty
It
filmed it
was,
for
yeah.
you,
Yeah,
where you were
yeah,
at like
yeah.
that pool, you had that pool table, you got your hands stuck in it and everything. You know, comedy is a big thing for you specifically, Souls, and like that's one of the things that captures people. They're like, oh yeah, you know, he's an interesting guy, he's a fun guy, you know, and everybody's got their own at least one other thing besides music that they rock with, you
Yeah.
know, and to answer your question, that has never changed really.
Hmm.
You know, every year different things change and people are like, oh, they've changed the algorithm, it's all on its head now. No, it's not. It still goes based off of interest. Are you interesting to people? It doesn't
Hmm.
have to be interesting to everybody, but are you interesting to the people that are most like you? And
Hmm.
that's what it is, just finding people who are the most like you. You know, every band or artist who's gotten a big fan base, they do it because people resonate with them because they feel like they've walked a similar path or they have similar interests or likes or something like that. And with social media now, people can showcase this more. And yeah, the big time people, they don't do it that much. But these indies that are getting 10 or 20,000 hardcore fans, it's because they go live once a week with just their fans.
Hmm.
You know, they chop it up with them. They do a little bit extra. You know, you just give a little bit more. They focus on the entertaining instead of the sales portion, which
Hmm.
is where, you know, a lot of artists were like, "Hey, I just put out this new song. You should check it out." It's like it sounds to me like, you know, fill in the blank of car company. Hey, we just got the brand new 2025 model out now.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
and what about it? How is this better than 2024? How is this better than
Exactly.
the other car companies, right? And that's the same thing that you got to think about with your music too. Is like you're not a sales. There's a sales element to it, but
But you're
you're not
selling
just trying.
yourself. You're not
You're selling
selling yourself.
yourself.
You're not
Yeah,
selling the music, and that's
it's
where
not.
people.
Yeah, it's not a product. You know, it's not like you're selling shoes. You know, you're selling yourself.
Hmm.
So it's just like an interview or a date or finding friends or whatever the situation. You just have to showcase yourself and entertain. You're in the entertainment business.
Hmm.
And for some reason, that's one of the hardest things for some of these independent artists, especially when they're in their first, you know, especially after they've been doing it for 5 years or more. If they haven't caught, I've noticed that they haven't caught a rise in the first 5 years or so.
Hmm.
They get really jaded. And then when I tell them, hey, you need to put out more video content, I'm not trying to be a content creator and be a TikTok star, TikToker, or a YouTuber and stuff like that. I'm trying to make music. I'm like, you don't understand.
Hmm.
Like you have to you're in the entertainment business. You have to entertain.
Hmm.
So if you're not willing to entertain, fuck out. Bye. And that's exactly what people are saying to you too. When you come around just during tax time and make 3 music videos and then only put out those over the next couple months and you don't put out any music videos the rest of the year. Nothing.
Hmm.
And you
Hmm.
try just recycling those same ones in shorts every once in a while, out now, stream now. Like, no, people don't resonate with you on that. You know,
Yeah.
you have to, and I think that's what the main thing is that no matter what platform comes up, the basics are the same. We got social media and everything's run on video. Everybody has a phone and they use it mainly to watch video.
Hmm.
So that's where you need to be is right in here. That's the number one place you need to be is in people's hands on their phone when they're killing time.
That's it, man. That's it.
Mm.
100% agree. And I think with I mean, again, I don't know if you work with a lot of UK artists, but I find with the UK market, especially with hip hop, I think it's probably a harder one to get people's attention because of the fact of it's not a huge. I mean, it's not a huge scene in the UK. It is big, but it's not huge. You've got obviously the rise of grime music and everything like that, which is kind of all in the mainstream and so forth. That's
Mhm.
what's kind of being played on the radio shows and things like that. So, I think as a UK artist, I think we probably struggle more than you guys do in the US, just for the fact that the US is such a bigger country. You've got more
Yeah.
demographics, you've got more people that you can actually put it in front of, basically. But at the same time, I do feel that you're very right in the sense that there is a format. Obviously, the format might change a little bit, but I think that I think with a lot of artists, I think they get, as you said very rightly, that they get a little bit jaded and
Mhm.
they kind of think, when they're not seeing results come quickly, they give up or
Mhm.
they think, well, this didn't work, rather than thinking, right, okay, why didn't that work? What can I do to next time maybe do something a little bit different? Or maybe, you know, and the thing is with the advert side of it as well, man,
Mhm.
I see that if you really, it's like anything that you want to achieve, you have to invest in it. And
Mhm.
not just invest in time, but sometimes it has to be money as well. And I know people are a bit like, well, Facebook doesn't work for me because unless you pay for the ads, or, Instagram's not working for me, because, I don't want to have to pay to do adverts. Why isn't it working for me when I'm posting this reel? Why am I only getting a couple of hundred rather than thousands? And then you see yourself and you compare yourself then to another artist who might not even be as good as you, or as the music's not as good, but they're getting thousands, and it makes then you as a as an artist feel like, well, man, look, my music's so much better than this guy, and
Mhm.
I'm getting like minimal play, but you don't understand that this person has invested in themselves, man, and that investment, unless you're willing to put in, then you can't expect to get out if you're not
Mhm.
putting in. And that's just the way it is, man. Unfortunately, we live in this world. However much you want to battle it, however much you want to fight it, you have to understand, you have to accept it. You can either go against the flow of go against the current, or you
Mhm.
can try to flow down the river and get to where you need to go. Do you know what I mean? By going and swimming in the right direction. And that's partly, I think, where a lot of
Mhm.
artists fail. I mean, do you have a lot of artists from the UK at all that you're working with, or not at the
Uh,
moment?
no, the only ones that I part-time work with is Agent Orange.
Yes,
I've
I
been
know
working with
Agent.
I've been working with him for a little bit. He's been really really busy on doing a bunch of ground game stuff right now, and so he's been really focusing. He threw like a charity event not long ago.
Mm-hmm.
He's been doing a lot of stuff for the youth and everything like that, which is where he's always really been.
But
Um,
he's a great guy. I know him
mhm.
very well. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But no, I understand what y'all are thinking, what you're all talking about, how like, yeah, the United States, we got almost 400 million people here. The demographic range is so wide,
Yeah,
right? I mean, like it's the for those of y'all who are not familiar with the US, like basically it's like it's like the EU almost. Okay, y'all got a bunch of different um countries and stuff like that are in the EU or just in Europe in total, right? You look at all Europe, right? Maybe not even just the EU, but all these little countries and stuff like that. Well, that's essentially what we have in the form of our states.
yeah,
It's like the
yeah,
city state model from the old Greeks,
yeah.
but we're all under one big thing. So that's why I compared it to the EU kind of. And so it's like we can travel around and you go from one state to another state. And the one I live in, we got like 5 million people that live here, something like that. You go to the next one over, they got another they got like Chicago over there just has 4 million people just in one city. You
Yeah.
got New York that has like 4 or 5 million in one city. LA, stuff like that. And it's like it's spread out. It's really diverse. People in New York may not like what somebody in Florida likes. The Florida
Yeah.
they got a totally different sound and everything. But I think what really helps, especially when U.S. artists market overseas, is it's the whole Americana vibe.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing of it's like, oh, that's that American hip hop shit, especially in hip hop, right? And it's like that's what it's always been. But what's really interesting is in the US, yeah, we like our own stuff, but there's a lot of people, especially in the boom bap scene, who
Yeah.
love UK boom bap.
Yeah.
Love it. Like a lot of US people never been out of the country. Love UK boom bap and stuff like that. They love seeing people like that. And so it's all about finding your people. And
Your
what you were
niche.
saying, yeah, exactly. But what you were saying about ads as well too is that people are like, oh, I shouldn't have to pay for my stuff to get seen. It's like, so, so does Coca-Cola not have to do any advertising ever again?
Hmm. And this is
Do they?
another thing that people need to realize. Like McDonald's,
Mhm.
I saw a thing
Yeah.
on Instagram. McDonald's doesn't make the best burgers.
No.
McDonald's makes the shittest burgers, but
Shittiest food.
their marketing is what gets them in front of people, and that is a very prime example of what what marketing can do for you, man. Even if your
well, just think
product,
about it. They're a worldwide company that distributes dog shit food to everybody, right? But they're worldwide, and people still go there all the time.
exactly.
And guess what? You know where the McDonald's are. Like, I don't know about over there, but in America, like, you'll have 4 or 5 or 6 in just one town, right?
Yeah,
It just depends on how big the town is. But it's like they know, they're like, okay, when a population every 15,000 people, we need to have another McDonald's. It's like that's what they seem to be doing. But like, they still run commercials on TV, on social media, on radio. They run commercials every fucking where. They don't have to, right? They're a trillion-dollar company or whatever, right? They're a multi-billion-dollar company. They're all over the world. You know, they did used to be in Russia. Now they're not in Russia because of the whole thing or whatever, but they're everywhere. You know what I'm saying? They're in the Middle East. They're South America, North America, Europe, everywhere, Asia. But they still run advertising.
Yeah.
Why? Because they know that keeps them top of mind with people. Not just the physical location, not just knowing that I got 5 of them in my town. It's knowing that it's putting you in front of people and getting in their memory, you know, and you know, so you as an independent artist, you have to get in front of people for just the opportunity for them to know who you are. And that's what ads will work for the most. But see, what I feel is that a lot of independent artists, whenever they put any money, let's say they put, you know, $100 or £100, right, into an advertising campaign over the course of a month. If they don't make $100 back in streaming and sales and merch and stuff like that, if they don't make it back, they feel like they just got ripped off. They wasted their money. But what they don't look at is like, what they don't think about is when somebody first sees you, you're an independent artist. You're not Drake or Beyonce or anybody like that, right? You're an independent artist. When somebody first sees your stuff, they may or may not like it, right? Let's say they do like it. Do you think that they're immediately going to add you to their playlist and start streaming the hell out of it, or go buy your music or buy a t-shirt off of you? Or no, they might hit like the first time they see it. Maybe. They're not going to comment unless they're a troll, right? But on average, they're not going to comment. They might hit like. So, you know, I was talking with an artist last week about Google Ads and about how I use them whenever I work with artists to help them grow their YouTube channel. And I believe YouTube is better than any other social platform to help grow. And I was telling him, he was like, yeah, man, but do Google Ads even really work, man? Because, you know, I've been seeing, I saw some stuff or whatever. I ran an ad one time and yeah, I got a lot of views, but like I got a little bit of likes and I only got like 1 comment. And I'm like, okay, yeah, but when you see something for the first time, do you like it and make a comment on it? He's like, well, no. I'm like, so do you think everybody's going to just because you put it in front of them? No. They got to see it multiple times, and not just see that, but see other things from you before they hit a like, before they make any decisions, right? Because of the oversaturation we talked about earlier, right? They want to see, they're like, you know, by now in 2025, so many people have seen fly-by-night artists that may have 1 or 2 good songs, and then they just fall off the face of the fucking earth. And so they don't want to invest their time, their energy, their money, their effort, anything like that into somebody unless they know that they're there for a while. And the more you get in front of them, the more you show them the consistency and the longevity, and that you're here just to entertain. You're not here to try to make a flip, right? You're not in the corner with the pack or whatever, right? You're actually out here trying to entertain and engage with these people, and you know, whatever your message is, you got a message and stuff like that. You want to resonate. Then people become invested in you as an artist and in your music and in your whole movement, whatever that is. And then people will be more apt to comment. They'll be on your live streams. They'll go and they'll add you to their playlists even more often. They'll share your stuff. They'll buy your stuff. But it takes time, you know, and so you can't just run, even on Meta, which I don't really like running Meta ads because it's really wonky, but you can do it. You can get successful campaigns if you do it right. It just takes a little extra. But no matter what platform you're running an ad on, you can't run it for 1 month and expect, you know, your stuff just to keep on going at that momentum for the next month. It doesn't work like that. You have
There
to
we
have
go.
the repetition. Like I said, look, I had 100 subscribers on my YouTube channel, and I was getting a dozen or two views per episode. I was dropping an episode every single week.
Hmm.
I started running Google Ads, and it started slowly going up, right? And I've been running it since August, every single month, every single week, every single episode. I run some ads on it and everything like that to get in front of people. And the organic is starting to go up. My like count is starting to go up. The comments are starting to go up. The interactions where people are coming over to my live stream now,
Hmm.
straight from Google recommendations, not from word of mouth, hand to hand shit, right? Which that works great, obviously. But like I'm starting to get strangers coming by asking me questions in the comments or submitting this or doing that, right? It takes time though.
Hmm.
And like I said, now I'm up to, thousands. Excuse me, my dog just decided to want to get out from underneath the desk, but thousands of views, and then the opportunity comes as well too. I got approached by Atlanta. I didn't go approach them. I got an email one day. Hey, we'd like to do a brand partnership with you.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so if I didn't have my podcast, my YouTube channel growing to where I was getting, thousands of subscribers and thousands of views every single episode,
Yeah.
then I wouldn't have gotten approached from somebody like Lander, who is a worldwide company, and says,
Yeah.
"Hey, we want to do a brand deal with you." And
Mhm.
I keep telling, I told that artist that the other day that I spoke with as well too. I'm like, "Look, man, opportunity comes once you show growth." And he's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, but man, then that looks fake though. It looks fake to you, but it's not.
Mm.
You're getting in front of real people. It's not like you're getting in front of bots, okay? Yeah, there might
Mm.
be some, but in order to pay Google Ads for a view, the person has to click. No, I'm not talking to my phone. Every
And it
time I
has to
say
be for a
Google,
certain amount of time
in
as
30
well.
seconds.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So they have to, is a click in 30 seconds, right? And so you get that, and then you pay Google whatever. And if you do it right, I'm getting people below 2 cents per view whenever I do Google ads for them and stuff, right? And so stop. Every time I say the G word, my phone goes off. But anyway,
It's got the G spot, bro. You hitting
exactly.
the G
I
spot.
hitting the G spot on them, man. Every time I say Google, my phone's like, yeah. I'm like, no, shut up. I'm not talking to you. But but anyway, yeah, there's that. And then when you're doing it as an artist on your music and you're spending, a fraction of a penny per view,
Mm.
and then that view is also a stream on YouTube, which pays some of the highest streaming revenue. Like here in the United States, it pays an average of 0.007, which is 70% of a penny, all the way up to 1.5 pennies per stream.
Mhm.
And that's an average, right? It's a big aggregate. It actually technically goes from 0.002, 20% of a penny, all the way up to 3 cents. It just depends on a lot of different things. Premium, country streamed, if it's on your channel or somebody else's, because it pays more if it's on somebody else's channel.
Mm.
And so, you got all these different things to go into it, but at the same time, you're getting eyeballs, you're getting more attention. And then when you get that consistency and you're running ads, your organic is going to start growing up and up and up and up and up as well too. But it depends on if you're entertaining, if you're pointing at the right people. If you make a boom bap hip hop track where you're doing a bunch of skateboarding tricks, right? And you market it to Slipknot fans, you can spend however much money you want to. You're only going to get a very small percentage of those people who will cross over, right? But if you market it to people who like skateboarding, people who like Lupe Fiasco, for instance, right? You're going to get, and your music happens to sound kind of like his, for instance, you're going to get a higher percentage of people coming over and at least checking you out, maybe even enjoying you as well too, because they already like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it goes the same way with when you do these playlisting, which I think playlisting is a dead art, right? It's a dead form of promotion, unless you're having your fans add you to their playlist, right? When they organically add you to their playlist, workout playlist, gym playlist, going to work, whatever, right? That is the only type of playlisting that actually works, because all these other playlisting scams, I call them, right? These providers and stuff like that, they give you the promise of you're going to get a lot of streams because we have these big name artists on these playlists, and we have X amount of people who supposedly listen to these playlists every day. And I say supposedly because we all know that roughly half of Spotify's free user base is bots and bot farms, right? And most of them are for the industry. So the major labels make money. Spotify makes money. Spotify even has whole teams of AI artists that they put into these playlists now, and they keep 100% of the money off of that too. This is why I keep telling artists Spotify is going to be dead within the next couple of years. Stop even saying their name when you're doing promotion. Just say YouTube, say Apple Music, say Tidal.
Bandcamp. I always release my music first on Bandcamp, and Spotify is just an after extra bit of promotion I use. I actually release it on Bandcamp and on my website. That's where I promote everything. And then, as I said, the streaming is an extra. Like, okay, look, this is where you can get it exclusive, you know, and buy it or whatever and support. And then this is just a little bit of an extra, you know, as a little bit of a more of a promote. That's how I use it now. Whereas before, I used to aim all my release dates onto the date when Spotify used to come out on Spotify, which I still do promote that. But my main release, I promote my website and Bandcamp because I know obviously it's a better platform. It supports artists a lot more. Obviously my own website. If I can support myself, you can't. So.
Right, exactly. Yeah, when you have people come over and you get them, when they can actually take that step to come over to your Bandcamp or your website, even if they don't purchase that often or at all, you still got them to take that extra step. And that means that they like you more than the average jamoke that they're seeing on social media, right? Yeah. But in order to get them there, you have to entertain them on the social media. And then they have to already have went and checked out your stuff over on Spotify, like your or YouTube or Apple Music or whatever, right? On the streaming, they've already checked you out on the streaming. They like all the stuff you have out there. And then when they're following you on the socials because they like the stuff you put out there, they like your music, and then they see a post where you're like, hey, brand new song out now, exclusive video only on the YouTube, and you can only stream it on my Bandcamp or get it on my website or whatever. Well, if they already like your stuff and they see that new thing, they're bare minimum going to go watch the music video on YouTube, right? And then if they really want to support after that, then they go to your Bandcamp or your website. But again, you have to have the algorithms working on these streaming platforms with all of your older stuff in order to get people to come down that, for lack of better terms, that funnel, right, in marketing. And so, yeah, exactly. That's what I always talk to artists about as well, too, is that you have your inner circle and your core support fan base. And those people are hosted on your website, right? They come to your website. They have given you their email address in exchange for some free downloads of your music, or maybe they purchase some stuff.
That's more in later on in the relationship, isn't it? That's kind of further down the line. Whereas
it is,
you want to first get them the attention and then build the emotion. Then that's when they're going to end up going towards your website. So it's that first part, which I think is quite difficult sometimes. And as I said, not indifficult, but I said it's more of an effort because that's when you need to be getting in front of people, doing your little, whatever you got to do, your trailers, your dropping music videos regular. A lot of people don't realize like music videos are so important. I know they've become a bit of a, I suppose, obviously since MTV isn't really, you know, all of these music channels have kind of gone because of the streaming websites and YouTube and everything. You don't really get any real decent ones out there anymore. And so music videos, they're now obviously gone onto YouTube, and YouTube, this is why this is one of the most important ones, because as soon as, even if I hear about a song, the first place I'll go and listen to is on YouTube because I want to watch the video. That's where I'll check firstly. And if I'm doing that as a consumer, you got to assume that people are doing the same thing. If they hear something or see like a trailer or whatever, they're probably going to go and see, right, is this out on YouTube? And if you're promoting it already, saying, look, not only is it on YouTube, it's got a music video on there. There's also more content coming out, such as, you know, behind the scenes, and you keep that interest going. And if you can get them onto YouTube, that is where, as I said, that's where you can obviously benefit a lot more, man, than just
absolutely
get them through the streaming platforms. You know.
Well, and see, you gotta, as an artist, you gotta think about it just as a base level. Okay, anytime you've ever gotten a phone, there are some apps that are already preloaded, one of which is YouTube. Okay. So everybody already has that. Most people use it for their entertainment, for their information, for podcasts, for whatever, right? They like it's used by it has 3 billion over 3 billion users, right?
Mm.
It's used by a lot of people. And so not everybody's going to fuck with Facebook. Not everybody's going to fuck with Instagram, X, TikTok, but they're going to have one of those social medias on average, right? Unless there's a random troglodyte. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like they're going to have at least 1 to 2 of those social media platforms and also YouTube,
It's
right?
guaranteed, man.
Exactly.
Guaranteed.
And so you need to be putting out all your short form content and stuff like that on all the socials, drawing them to your YouTube, and then the YouTube takes them on to the next step of your Bandcamp or your website or whatever, where they can go on over there. But like you said a second ago, that's for people, that's later. You need to get people on the front end first. You need to entertain and pique people's interest, right?
That's it, man.
Exactly. And so, that's, yeah, absolutely. Every single clip that you put out on social, you shouldn't say out now, buy now, stream now. You should say, watch the full video over on YouTube, because every clip that you put out should be a part of a longer video or some kind of very strategic promotion for a longer video. And then you use YouTube for what it is. It's your tube, your television, right? It's where you can put your own videos up for other people to watch, and that's why I say it's the greatest ecosystem for an independent artist, because you can put your music videos up there. You can put your short form videos up there. You can have your music directly linked from your distributor up there on the releases tab.
Yeah.
And so then, and then you can also have what I call lifestyle content, which is where you put anything aside from a direct music video. So it's a behind the scenes lyric breakdown, why I started making music, why I wrote this song, or yo, check out my skateboard trick, right? Whatever, right? You're doing these other things. And so people are seeing the shorts coming to your YouTube, watching the longs while they're there. Oh, you make music too? Boom. Now I'm just adding this on my YouTube music, which pays between 80% and a whole penny. It pays roughly a whole penny per stream. Okay, so let me go check it out there on YouTube Music. And now you're getting added in there on YouTube Music, maybe even a YouTube playlist if they don't have premium. And they're able to see everything. Like, no social media platform has your music in full directly loaded up to where people can just listen at will to whatever they want. Your music videos, any video that you have up there full length, honestly, and your short form videos all in one place. None of them have it except for YouTube. And obviously like your website, which, like I said, that's the next level, right? And so yeah, as an artist, you have to think of it like that. No, you're not trying to be best friends with everybody. No, you're not out here trying to, be a content creator. But you're in the entertainment business. You have to entertain. And however it's entertaining to you. You don't have to do the latest trendy dance and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do that. If you're like super on social issues or political or whatever, you can just be all about that. If that's in your music as well too, right? If that's part of your whole brand. If, like you're all about comedy and having fun and shit like that, Souls. So like, that's what people know from you. So whether they, they see you as Captain America or they just see you goofing off or whatever, it is what it is, right? You got to showcase a little bit more from yourself and let people in, because a fan is somebody who's fanatical. That's what it's short for. It's not somebody who just kisses your ass. It's somebody who's fanatical about you. Well, they're not going to get fanatical off of you just because you dropped one dope song last year. And
I think, sorry to interrupt you, man. I think some of it boils down to as well what the intentions of the artist are. Some artists are just quite happy with just making the music, and if they get a few, it just depends what level you want to go at. And I've got, that's fine as well, man. Whatever people want to do, but then you get the situations when an artist, you feel like by the way they're talking, does want to be at the next level. For example, they say they're not getting enough. They're getting. You can see that they're getting a bit annoyed with the situation. And so
they get really they're like, oh, social media is all, they'll have these like big tropes, like this is a scam or that's fake or this is a racket or whatever. And I think that's because they're jaded.
Yeah, that's it, man. And I think just putting that little bit of extra, a little bit of extra effort in, depending on what your goal is. And it's that contradiction that I see sometimes. You can see that person wants to reach a certain level, but then they're not willing to take the steps to do it. So, and
Absolutely not.
and I can understand it's a bit of maybe if there's a bit of a fear in there as well, because it feels like there's just so much you have to do, and you're
Mhm.
like, fuck, man, like I've got to do music video, and then I've got to do this, and then I've got to schedule these, and I've got to make these little short, So I know there's platforms out there that can, reduce time on doing some of those things,
Mhm.
creating shorts and things like that. But I think it's that overall work ethic that is really needs to be, needs to be said. Because obviously,
Mhm.
if you're intending to make something of your or make something of your brand or whatever, and you're not willing to take those steps, then yeah, I mean, that's the hardest part, man, to motivate people to
Mhm.
realize that, But I think it does boil down to your goals, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
uh,
well, it boils down to your goals, but also, like you said, it boils down to your work ethic.
mm,
Because, the difference between Lil Russell, right, who's out of the West Coast over here, he's a big pop and independent artist, right? Lil Russell. The big
yeah,
difference between him and just some other hip hop artist over in California is that he did what was necessary. He's
mm,
100% independent, everything like that. And he's grinding his way up. And, you know, at minimum, people look, oh man, I gotta have these music videos and I gotta do all these shorts. Yes, but you don't have to do it every day.
But
You
the
can
thing is
work.
that, a lot of these other artists have a team, because really, as an independent artist, you're
Hmm.
pretty much having to do everything. You're making the
Hmm.
content. You're obviously, some people are doing all the mixing, some people are even making the beats. So you're
Yep.
doing all this stuff, and then that's just making the music, and then you
Yep.
can't come to the marketing side of it. Then you got to make plans for the video, photo
Hmm.
shoot. Like you pile
All
all that
that.
on, man. Do you know what I mean? That
It's a
for
lot.
one person to be doing on their own, and
Hmm.
this is where the daunting part of it is. There's not enough people, I suppose, but really the people that want to do it, I just don't think they've got the right people around them, or not enough people around them to be able to help them along the way. I mean, there are
Hmm.
collectives where people do help each other. I'm sure, I work that way as well. You
Right.
make connections and stuff like that. So you make it work the best way you can. But yeah, obviously, when when you look at because there was a period where I was doing a release plan, yeah, 6 week release plan, exactly what I was
Mhm.
going to do from week to week. And then I started to tweak it a little bit, and I still go back to it, but I've kind of a format and stuff. And then post release,
Hmm.
which sometimes gets missed. People don't put as much into post release, which they should. I think pre release nowadays, I think you don't want to be doing it too early, maybe even a week or two, just dropping little hints, little bits. But it's the post release that's where I think people need to be. I personally have
Hmm.
changed and switched, and that's where I put a lot of my focus is the post release to keep on getting in people's faces with different things, different ways
Hmm.
of getting the music, talking about the music, just lyric videos, whatever you want to do, start trickling them out. Maybe 2, 3 months, you could be still dropping little bits, gradually fading it out.
Hmm.
And then you've got a good, 2.5 months or 3.5 months sometimes of that particular music to get in front of people. And obviously using the ads
Hmm.
as a tool along the way as well. You could do like over the weeks or whatever. So, creating that, as a strategy, like yeah,
I
that's something
think, right. And I always tell artists actually don't pre-promote.
you.
You just only work on post promotion because pre-promotion for a lower tiered artist is a waste because anybody that they get in front of, 90% of the people they get in front of are going to be strangers.
Mm,
So why would you get in front of a stranger with something that stranger can't immediately go and check out in full? You're
mm.
wasting the opportunity. You're teasing them, probably gonna piss them off. And I've heard artists say, "Oh, well, they can just go listen to my other stuff." Yeah, but they don't want to. You pique their interest with that specific clip. They want to go see the rest of it. They want to hear the rest of that song. That little hook is hooked in their fucking head now.
Yeah, we live
You know
in
what I'm
that
saying?
time where people want things now as well, and you
Yeah,
have
we're
to
in a
kind of
hyper on
adjust.
demand society, man.
100%, man. People aren't going
Yeah.
to remember in a week's time, but you got a track coming
No.
out.
No, and
So
I've seen artists try pre-promoting 2-3 months in advance, and I'm like, what the
mm,
fuck are you doing?
yeah,
Like, are you kidding me? Like, yeah, you're gonna have those 10 people who day ones who gonna remember, maybe, But like, you're not gonna have fucking Susie or Sally or Joe or whoever random that fucking saw your post randomly come up on their feed because they happen to be interested in the same thing that day that your post was about. They're
Hmm.
not going to remember. I'll hit that pre-save link. Why would I hit a pre-save link? Who the fuck are you? Right?
Mm.
But if you focus all your efforts on post-production, post-promotion, until you actually get to a good level, like where you're doing some good numbers. You're getting that recognition finally. You're starting to you're starting to be able to have the music start supplying most of your marketing budget, maybe a little extra on the side for you to go out and eat here and there.
Hmm.
Then you can start working on pre-promotion because then you actually have a real following.
Yeah.
I say unless you have a thousand people on your email list that voluntarily gave you their email, you don't need to be doing any pre-promotion.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not talking about you got it off that Christina Morel chick on YouTube. You got those 1,000 emails or whatever that she gives out for free. I'm talking about 1,000 people went to your site or whatever and put in their email address voluntarily. You get 1,000 people to do that. Now you got 1,000 actual fans
Hmm.
that you can start doing some pre-promotion too. And you do that via email. You do it via your website, via your Bandcamp, via your insider crew that you're going live with once a week or whatever, once a month, exclusively to them only and stuff. Like, you build that core fan base, and then that's where you do your pre-promotion.
Hmm.
But the way that the algorithms work nowadays, a lot of people are like, oh, well, I got X amount of thousands of followers and I only get a couple of views or a couple of reactions on my post. I'm like, yeah, that's because what I said earlier, it's interest based. It's not the follower based graph, right? Supposedly Facebook is trying to go back, but I doubt they will because everything is on the interest base. So 90+% of people who are seeing your content are seeing it because of their interest. And most of them are not going to be uh they're going to be strangers. They're not going to be
Yeah.
familiar with you,
Mm.
And so yeah, you have to work on the post promotion. And like you said, it's a lot for one person to do.
It
And
is.
so
Yeah.
you got to have some people around you. You network with a team. That's why a lot of people will get with, small indie labels. Even though there's not a lot of finances involved, there's still, hey, oh, hey, can you come out this weekend and shoot my video for me? I'll shoot
Yeah.
yours right
Yeah.
afterwards.
That's
You know what I'm
it. That's
saying?
it.
Like, yeah, hand me the camera. I got you next, right? Do that kind of stuff, right? You got the whole, that producer's making a beat over there. Okay, cool. Then you're gonna like help him fucking shingle his roof or whatever. Like, you do that kind of
Mm.
stuff like that, right? You do those kind of things for people as you can. And I hear artists, oh, I don't have nobody. Like, I ask artists, I'm like, do you have somebody who can hold just a phone and record you? No, I don't have anybody. Oh, so you don't have a significant other? You don't have a teenage kid? You don't have a relative of any kind? You don't have a homeboy, homegirl, nothing like that?
You could
You have
even ask somebody
nobody?
on the streets that might look,
Exactly. You can do
reputable.
that. Like, I'm the most reclusive of recluses, right? Like, I don't go out and hang out with people on the weekends and shit like that, right? I'm in here, I hang out with my kids, a couple of family members. That's it. But guess what? My kids have recorded me on multiple videos. Hell,
Mm.
bro, me and you have done the video for Stranger and the video for Lost in Space. My
Yeah.
fucking kid shot that for me, right? Both of those. He shot multiple of my videos when he started when he was 13,
Yeah.
right? Now, he's not a professional videographer. He used my phone and fucking shot me real quick, right?
Mm.
Some of it wasn't that great. Some of it was okay, right? But guess what? I had video content, And that's why I tell artists too, like, they're like, oh, there's so much to do. Can you create 4 videos a month? Just 4. And they're like, well, yeah, I can do that. Okay. Can you use a program like the one I recommend all the time, Opus? Can you use that to chop down your clips into 5 clips? Well, yeah, probably. Okay. Then you can do that over 1 to 2 weekends or like 2 to 3 off days. You can knock all that out and be good for a month. That's all you got to do. 4 videos. You got 1 music video. And then you got 3 that are a combination of the lifestyle videos or the behind the scenes, like music related videos,
Yeah.
lyric breakdowns, behind the scenes of the music video, whatever it is, like, bar breakdowns and stuff like that. You got those 3 videos, right? So 4 total, and you chop 5 clips out of each of them.
Yeah.
And you're good for a month. That's 5 posts a week on social media and 6 posts a week on YouTube because you're doing YouTube shorts and regular YouTube.
Yeah.
And you do that, you'll start getting consistency. And all you're doing is taking a maximum of 3 to 4 days a month shoot, create, schedule for the month. That's it.
Yeah,
But
man.
people think, oh, I got to post these shorts every day. Yes, you have to post them every day. You don't have to fucking create them every day.
You can
You
schedule
know?
that. You can schedule that sort of stuff.
Schedule. All the platforms have scheduling ability except for TikTok. They only allow 10 days in advance, but all the other ones allow you to do 30 to 45. So you're good to go on all of them. And TikTok, in America at least, is kind of like existing anymore. So, you know,
I'm
but
not
YouTube's
a fan of it, man. I know other
yeah,
people
a
use
lot
it.
of people, a lot of people aren't. It's been a powerhouse for the last 4 years to help independent artists grow. A lot of independent artists have been able to utilize the attention graph on that to actually get a good fan base and translate that over to other platforms.
Yeah.
You know, to YouTube, to their website, to wherever, to the streaming platforms, right? They didn't just stay on TikTok and think that they're going to make their money off of TikTok.
Yeah.
And so that's where they're able to transfer. So whether or not TikTok goes away, it doesn't matter. YouTube allows you to schedule up to 45 days in advance.
Yeah.
Meta platforms, you know, Facebook and Instagram, they do as well too. And they're not going anywhere. Those two in particular are not going anywhere. So I tell artists, I'm like, look, if you think you can only have the bandwidth to focus on two platforms at a time, YouTube and Instagram.
Yeah.
That's it. And technically, you can do Facebook and Instagram at the same time through Meta Business Suite. So
Yeah, I'm not a fan of
good.
Facebook, man. I do use it to keep in touch with people, you know what I mean? But we do use it for our events when we do event pages and stuff like that. But on a whole, Instagram, man, that's
yeah. Facebook is you know, it's trending to where it's not as relevant anymore. It used to be back when, you know, back in the early, you know, in before 2020 and stuff like that, when me and you were meeting and stuff. That was the place. These groups would be great. Now the groups are a bunch of artists trying to make everybody listen to their songs, you know, and it's only artists in there. There's no fans in there, stuff like that. But that's why Instagram's popping. That's why Facebook is popping. That's why TikTok was popping for so long, you know. And I tell people too, like, they're like, oh, well, you know, I'm not gonna worry about video. I'll just post my cover art and, you know, do a lyric video or a visualizer. And I'm like, okay, if you think that videos aren't important enough for you to do, explain to me why a multi-billion-dollar company called YouTube and another multi-billion-dollar company called Meta spent billions of dollars to create short-form video formats on their platforms to compete with TikTok if video ain't shit. Explain that, because YouTube owns the fucking internet. They're owned by Google. They own the internet. Meta owns fucking the whole social media graph platform, basically, right? So why would they billion-dollar companies spend billions of dollars to compete with some little janky outfit out of Singapore, China, wherever the fuck they came from, right? Because they saw all their attention go over there. They saw the value in video, which at first was short form, and then it has now morphed to where they're longer form, right? And they saw the value. And so that's why there's YouTube Shorts. That's why there's Facebook and Instagram Reels. So if these multi-billion-dollar companies saw the value in it, you should. You know, and that's why I'm just like, look, bare minimum, create 4 videos a month, chop them into shorts, schedule and post. You can do that in a weekend if you're highly motivated. You can do it in 2 weekends if not, right? And then just keep on working at least a month in advance. You know, like what you said, you got your 6-week thing. And just focus on don't worry about pre-promotion. Everything you shoot is going into post. And you start posting everything the day that the song drops on streaming platforms, and then after that, right? And then as you grow, once you start getting a core fan base, then you can start saying, hey, I got this song that's coming out next week on streaming platforms. If you want to hear it 5 days early, it's over on my Bandcamp right now. And then you run some clips or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But you have to get up to a certain level for that, you know, because again, strangers are seeing it. And then also, bare minimum, you want to look at the brass tacks of it. If your music is not up through your distributor on the streaming platforms, you will not get a single fraction of any monetary system that you have in your country from people viewing those videos with your song in it on any of these social platforms. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not tracked. It's not up there. It's not in their system. It's not in Meta's system for Meta to calculate the royalties and stuff like that. It's not in YouTube or nothing like that because it's not anywhere yet. It's still in your hard drive. You uploaded it to your distributor, but they haven't put it up yet, right? So they haven't encoded it yet. And so that's another reason why I say don't pre-promote. Because unless you're directly drawing people over to your website or your Bandcamp, which will benefit you, there's no benefit, like, because a lot of artists don't even have either one of those. And so it's like, well, then don't pre-promote. If you're not drawing people to there and you don't have a decent enough following to draw anyone there, then don't do any pre-promotion, because you're losing on all fronts. You're teasing people and they can't see the full thing, so now they get pissed and leave. You're not getting any money if they do. Like, I always tell artists, like, if you create a short promotion for your new song let's say a week before it drops, and it goes viral, guess what? It dies right there. You get 0.00 any money, right? No matter pounds, dollars, whatever. You get none. You get no streams. You get nothing off of it. You just get a lot of views on that one platform for that one thing. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why a lot of these artists that have been doing well online know that what they need to do is, when they have a song that comes out, they go and shoot 4 or 5 one-shot, one-take videos in vertical format, and then they take clips out of that, and they run different pieces of the song with different backgrounds and stuff, and see which one starts popping for more, and then they'll come out with a full music video for it. Right? That's another way to do it as well too, but you got to make sure that song's out first. You know, because I ran across on my review show, I had somebody, his name is Zach Smith a song, and the link that he sent for YouTube was just an audio only with his graphic, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I look, it has almost 1 million streams, like 1 million views on it. I'm like, how the fuck? And then I go and look at his IG and his YouTube shorts, and I see why. Because he's been promoting this thing for the last 3 months. It's went viral with all the clips that he's done. And they weren't clips of his thumbnail. His dope fucking cover art, right? You got all these people always hitting you up in Facebook Messenger for cover art. It wasn't because of that. It was because of that 30 to 45 seconds of that little bit of the song. And he shot it in different scenes and stuff like that. And so that kind of stuff will move. I mean, like, I saw that, I was like, holy shit. And I went and looked at his streaming for the same thing. He had almost 2 million total views and streams and stuff like that across Spotify and YouTube, just alone. And I was like, God damn, like, that's crazy for not even a real music video, just doing it only on the shorts, you know? And so that right there is like the power. And I showed that to people in the live stream. I'm like, artists, if you don't have a video for your song, you can't get anywhere. Look, this is the possibility that you can do. You know what I'm saying? You can do it. It has to be a good song, but yeah, you can do it.
So what's next for you, Harkos? So are you obviously just keeping doing this, and are you gonna sort of venture out doing anything else, or is this your main focus at the moment, man?
So this is my main focus at the moment. I have aspirations of getting back into music on a more full-time basis. However, I got to be able to have the time to do it, you know.
It's the juggling, man. It's juggling the time.
It's a juggling, you know. But yeah, my goal is to get to a certain level to where, you know, I'm able to help as many artists as possible with my weekly podcast episodes and my weekly Wednesday live stream. Yeah, plus a lot of the DIY options that I currently have and I'm building for artists to help themselves.
Yeah, man.
To where I'm able to be able to financially not have to worry about spending so much time working on other means to make money, and then I can focus more on making music and hopefully just working with artists and helping them grow. My goal is to like get some artists to really pop, you know, not from my own ego, but also because like that's another milestone. You know what I'm saying? I got artists who are like making some significant moves, but I want to get some artists to pop, to go to that next level, to get approached by real labels, not some dude in his basement somewhere, but like real labels, and get to that next level, man. That's what I want to do. I want to keep seeing artists grow, keep helping them as much as possible, and then on my own personal like egotistical thing, I want to see some of my what I call supposed competition on YouTube, these music gurus, go out of business because of
He's coming for you, people. That's Harkos. He's taking you down. Yeah. Anybody
Exactly.
out there doing what he's doing, you better watch out. You better watch
Yeah.
out, man.
Well, because there's some people that I feel are leading artists astray, and I'm like, I'm coming to destroy you. You're gonna quit. You're gonna quit. It's gonna happen.
Harkos is coming, man. He's got his blood. He's got blood on his fucking on his mind, mate.
Yeah, that's my mission. So that's what I'm gonna do. As soon as I get at least one person to start doing video game streaming again or something instead of doing music marketing stuff, then I'll know my shit's good.
Yeah, man. And we're gonna wrap the show up now. So obviously it's been amazing having you on. I hope people obviously have taken some good tips there away. And you know, we understand it is a difficult landscape. We know it, you know, these things can seem a bit daunting. But
Hmm.
for those artists who want to go to that next level, as Harkos has very rightly said, you think it's a lot, but it's not really when you actually really think about it. And
Hmm.
we've got so many tools now that help us be able to do these things as well and shorten that time to do so. Um, I mean, it's been a real pleasure speaking to you, man. Is there anything else you want to say to the people where they can find, obviously, your podcast and obviously, you know, where they can find all your other information about you as well, man?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate coming on here as well and everybody who tuned in and everything like that. If you got anything off of what I said, or even if you disagree with me, musicmakingsensepod.com. He'll have it in the description and stuff. It's spelled cents as in like the dollars, CENTS over here in
That's it.
America.
Yeah,
But that's where you can find everything, all the links to all the streaming socials. You can email me and cuss me out if you want to, or you can email me and say, hey, man, I'd like to talk some more.
yeah.
I do give free initial one-on-one video consultations as well too. So musicmakingsensepod.com is where you can find all the links. You can connect with me in any way, and you can check out the artist tools page where there's a lot of resources for independent artists as well too.
Well, there you go, man. You're doing great work, mate. And anyway, I can obviously help you as well. And in fact, you're going to be helping us with the show as well. So we
Absolutely.
have got a YouTube channel, people. So please, that's going to get up and running very soon. It's going to have extra content that you're not going to find on the podcast and some other extra treats as well. So yeah, as I said, Harkos is going to help us with that as well. So do appreciate your contribution there, man.
Well, this is not coming out for a little bit, so by the time this comes out, we will actually have your YouTube up and running by then.
Yeah,
So,
that's what we
so
hope, man.
yeah,
That's what we
if you
hope.
are not already subscribed to the YouTube, make sure you subscribe to their YouTube as well.
That's it. Yeah, it's the show on YouTube, and yeah, get
Hmm.
there early. You know, you get the first bits of content, and then you'll be the first people to be able to see it. So, yeah, man,
Absolutely.
big up yourself, and yeah, appreciate spending our time. And yeah, man, we'll have you back. Maybe we'll have a different conversation. Obviously, appreciate you all
Yeah.
the tips that you've given, but we want to learn a little bit more about Harkos, about the man behind the music makes sense. So.
Yeah, exactly. I talk about get behind the music. You gotta let people in, and I gotta let people in behind the music
Exactly
marketing,
that,
huh?
brother.
There we go.
Exactly
There we
that.
go.
All
All
right.
right. All
Peace
right.
out, man.
All right. Later, man. Appreciate you.
Take care, man. Bye bye.
Yeah.